Thank Mr. Platek and the family here at the Rotary Club and Wyckoff for just giving us an invitation to share a little bit about Dawn Treader Christian School, located in Paterson, New Jersey, right off Route 80 and the Great Falls of Paterson. So we're in a great location. So I want to start with myself. My name is Charles Salinas. I am the head of school for Dawn Treader Christian School. I'm entering my 10th year at Dawn Treader Christian School. And to be honest with you, I have a background in law enforcement. I was in law enforcement for 20 years. And during that time of law enforcement, I did corrections for Passaic County. I also had, and I still do have, a community outreach department and initiative, which we ran and we still do for many years. And out of that initiative and out of my experience in law enforcement, I made some great relationships. And some of those relationships were part of Dawn Treader Christian School. Before I entered there, I didn't know where Dawn Treader was or who Dawn Treader was. And after I was pensioned out because our department closed down and we were going to be shipped to Essex County, and I chose not to go to Essex County. I chose to stay in Passaic County and continue my community work. They brought me into a meeting for Dawn Treader Christian School, and at the time, Dawn Treader was in really bad shape. They were down to 23 students. Staff hadn't got paid for a while. No insurance on the school or the building. So it was really in a tough situation. And entering there, as anyone could imagine, I was thinking to myself, well, this is not a good situation here. I just, left a good, situation financially where now I'm pensioned out, my family's well taken care of, and I can continue on doing ministry. But now I'm entering this situation where it's very tough, very difficult. So as you can imagine, the decision to stay at Dawn Treader was very difficult. But by the grace of God, I stood my ground, and we started doing work there. I became one of the board members for Dawn Treader Christian School, and we just started laboring. We started working. One of the first things that we started doing was connecting with former sponsors, donors that were part of Dawn Treader Christian School for many years. Dawn Treader Christian School has been in existence for 43 years in the city of Paterson. The first Christian school in the city of Paterson in 1977. So we started laboring and we started reconnecting with all the former sponsors and donors that now were living in Wayne and Wyckoff and all the surrounding cities in Paterson, and just building relationships. I just sensed that I had to reconnect and rebuild relationships with all the people that were part of Dawn Treader Christian School. And for some reason or another, they were not a part of Dawn Treader Christian School anymore. So thankfully, I was able to make many relationships throughout these years. But the first 3 years were very instrumental because it got us out of debt. We were in debt $150,000. We had judgments. It was really tough, but through these relationships or these reconnections, we were able to get back on track. And I could say 10 years later, we're out of the red per se, and we are now moving forward. We have now going into our 10th year in my administration. We're going on 90 children from 23 10 years ago. So that's really a remarkable feat that we have been able to do. And I wasn't able to do it by myself. Going back into my story, 6 months into my administration, I lost all my board members, every one of them. I stood by myself, and I was like, I understood every one of them. Every one of them I was able to build a relationship with, but I understood, the severity that we were in, and God just strengthened me to stay through. I guess that's the part of law enforcement in me. I'm going to stay until the very end. So I stood my ground, and I continued my relationship with them, and I understood, and I blessed them to go forward. But throughout these years, especially after we lost all our board members, I was kind of, myself, in the forefront, and our teachers, our staff, our faculty, they played part of, moving forward and helping us rebuild Dawn Treader Christian School. And now in the last 3 years, by the grace of God, we've been able to make even more relationships, like Servant's Heart, John Osteich and his crew and his marvelous team that has helped us with the building itself, with the structure of the building, because the building itself it has been there for close to 200 years, and it still needs a lot of help. Even though Servant's Heart has worked diligently to help us rebuild, it still needs a lot of help. We are in a fundraiser campaign this year to raise up at least $300,000 for our windows, because all of our windows are in very bad shape. And also, I've been able to meet Rob Skeed here and his beautiful family, and the Bethlehem Church family in Ridgewood that have been very instrumental. Tim Westra, Wayne Tile, his father Harry, was very instrumental in the 1970s of building Dawn Treader. So with that, we've been able to move forward, and again, we're at 90 kids this year, and we're excited about our school year. We're excited about the culture that we've built throughout these 10 years, a culture of love for these kids, a culture of just friendship and honor and respect, which I believe that will mark them to create a better Patterson for tomorrow. So I believe that every child that walks in through our doors, we're making a difference in their lives. God took me out of corrections to build men into stronger men, but now God brought me to Dawn Treader to make boys into men. So I'm graced and privileged by God to give me that opportunity. So here I am, and I think my reason for being here is the same one that God placed in my heart 10 years ago, and that's just building relationships. It's not really asking for much, even though we have need, but it's more about building relationships. I believe in building relationships that last a long time, that last a lifetime, because I believe that can take you longer than any just simple donation. If anyone has any questions, but before that, I want to maybe have Rob just say a couple of words of his experience at Dawn Treader Christian School.
Yeah, hi, good morning, everybody, and thank you for inviting us to your breakfast this morning. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Robert Skeed. I was born and raised in Wyckoff, also lived in Midland Park 9 years, then moved back to Wyckoff, went to Coolidge School, Eisenhower School, Ramapo High School, so I've got your banner of Midland Park and Wyckoff covered, so I'm grateful to be here. So I heard about Dawn Treader Christian School about 5 years ago. Does everyone understand where the name Dawn Treader came from? It's kind of an interesting name, right? So if you're familiar with the book series, The Chronicles of Narnia, by C.S. Lewis, there's a ship in that story called the Dawn Treader. So in 1977, when the gentleman who started Dawn Treader created the school, he named it after that. He named it after that ship in Chronicles of Narnia. So we like the name because it kind of talks about the kids going on a journey, right? So a journey of education, a journey of spiritual growth, a journey of making a difference in their community. So I love the name Dawn Treader. I'm also a published children's author, so when I discovered Dawn Treader, I heard it was from that book, I thought that was a really neat connection for me. Now, when I first heard about Dawn Treader, I had never heard of it before. I grew up in Wyckoff, lived in Midland Park, moved back to Wyckoff. Here it is 10 minutes away, never heard of Dawn Treader. Heard of Eastern Christian, heard of Hawthorne Christian, heard of all the great Catholic schools in the area, never heard of this school. The school was involved in our basketball program. I ran a club basketball team. We started a league called Athletes in Action. Dawn Treader's basketball team came to play in our league. I'm like, what is Dawn Treader? So I met Pastor Salinas. He was actually the coach too at the time. He invited me to come to the school. I took a tour of the school and immediately fell in love with it. It's in the first silk mill ever built in Patterson. So it's in a very big, cool building. But when you get in there, you see two things. You see one, there's definitely the hand of God on this school. And then two, this school has a lot of needs. The building, as Pastor said, has been kind of rebuilt by this organization called Servant's Heart, who I believe you also support. But they can't do everything. It's got a lot of needs. When he talks about the windows that are needing to be rebuilt and refurbished, they're not little windows like this. These are like 12-foot long, high windows that have been there since the beginning. And there's 4 floors of them. How many windows are there?
243, I believe.
243 windows that need rebuilt or refurbishing. So that's not a small job. And then when I took the tour, I got to see the kids and meet the teachers. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful place. The 4th floor is a basketball gym with those gorgeous windows surrounding it and with a view of Patterson. I'm a basketball guy, so the gym had to be hooked right away. I realized I have to do everything I can to help this school. So I started just doing, as Pastor said, he's all about building relationships. He's become one of my best friends. I recently went through an unwanted divorce. Pastor was there for me every day, helping me and comforting me and getting me through that process. He's become a great friend along the way. So anyway, I went to this school, saw the needs, and just started figuring out how can I help? How can I connect him with people in suburbia who can actually have the resources to help this school? And that's kind of what I've done through the years, in little ways and in bigger ways and medium-sized ways, any way I can possibly think of. And then recently he asked me to be on the school board. So for the past couple of years I've been serving in that capacity as well. But it's a beautiful school. I want to invite everyone here in this room to come take a tour of it at some point. It's right in the safest area of Patterson we could possibly say, the historic district. It's literally right around the corner from the Great Falls. And either of us would love to give you a tour of the school so you could make a connection to the teachers, the students, and just see the great things that are going on there, and also the great need. So that's a little bit about me and my involvement with the school, and we thank you for giving us this opportunity to share with you.
If I can add, our community part of what we do for Dawn Treader is something we call City Impact. So we get our 7th and 8th grade, and I appreciate the young people that are here because the young people are our driving force in our city. And they have been helping myself and everybody in our staff at City Impact, which is in collaboration with Dawn Treader, as well as King of Kings. I wear a lot of hats, guys. I mean, I'm the head of school for Dawn Treader Christian School. I'm the lead pastor for King of Kings Worship Ministries, and all these initiatives that are small initiatives, but very impactful initiatives in the city of Patterson, which one of them is City Impact. We get our 7th and 8th grade involved, we get high schoolers involved, and we get college kids involved in cleaning up Patterson, getting the graffiti out of our Great Falls area, making sure that our Great Falls area maintains itself clean, and we also talk to them about the love of God. There's a lot of people in that area that are homeless, so we try to get them into programs. We have a group of skaters that's their hub, and we love the skater community, but a lot of them are facing a lot of challenges like homelessness and drug addiction. So we try to get them into programs to rehabilitate. So we have now, once they come out of rehabilitation, we get them plugged into King of Kings Worship Ministries, and we get them to serve. And now we have a couple of great stories of what God has done in their lives. So that's a little bit of what we do. Again, we wear a lot of hats and we do a lot, but I believe, like this beautiful lady said, we can do it. Together we can do it, right? And it's about togetherness, and it's about family. The mission for Dawn Treader Christian School is faith, family, and education. That's the mission. And I believe we want to meet all three.